Okay, so today we are going to talk about the management of time, and I have this small piece of paper which has been given by my corporations, Indian oil corporations, and regularly we go through all these activities and try to implement in our life, how to manage happiness, how to manage the time. So today I got this sheet of paper, and that from there only I learn a few things, and I want to share with you. So the first thing is that what is time management? Time management is effectively managing your life or managing the activities, or it is how much time you spend on a particular activities. Now unconsciously we get dig inside a target without realizing the potential of that activities, how much that particular task add to our overall efficiency, and that is where we made a lot of mistakes. Have you ever seen that lot of that few peoples can manage their time very effectively, and they seem to achieve far more than most of the peoples? Everybody has got 24 hours, right? But most of the peoples you can find complaining about lack of time. However, few peoples manage their time effectively, and they always seem to have lot of time spare that they can spend in their and in building relationship and talk, having fun and enjoy spending time with their family and kids. This happens most of the time, and that is why it is an important area where we have a lot of scope to improve in our day-to-day life, in our professional life or personal life. So if we can learn how to manage time and how can we effectively utilize our time, definitely it will be much important, and will add value into our life, that's for sure. So when it comes to time management, there are two parts. Basically, you can divide all these time management activities in two parts. In part one, we can take all the things which waste our time. That means decreasing the time waster. Now, you spend the time and waste on certain activities where there's a scope that you can do that particular activity in much lesser time, even though without realizing you spend a lot of time. So the first activity is that you have an habit of perfectionism, right? There are people, most of the people think that the activity which I start should be completed in a very perfect manner. And there are people who thinks that an activity should be very perfect, and they spend a lot of time repeating the same activities for the sake of improving a bit. Now, most of the time, such improvement doesn't gives you much return in life in terms of financially or other way around. So, do not spend much time on being perfect, on being making the things perfect, because average things, even if it's not 100% perfect, it will work perfect. It will work finely. The other area where we can improve is the interruptions. Yes. Have you ever noticed that in between, when you are doing some important work, how many interruptions have you received? Like you are reading some important books, you are writing some important stuffs, and in between you got an SMS or an notification on your WhatsApp or on your phone, and all of a sudden you get diverted, your focus gets diverted into that. Now, it's okay that you can spend, and now you will say that it's fine, I'll spend 30 seconds on that WhatsApp or SMS and then come back to my work. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's hardly possible, because scientist has proved and research has proved it again and again that once you get diverted from your focus, when it takes double or triple times to come back and put your concentration on that task again. So get rid of the distractions. Keep yourself free from distractions while you do some important activities at office or at home or any place. The second area is where you invest most of that time, a huge time on the activities which doesn't required your time. That is the delegation. Most of the activities in our day-to-day basis we can delegate means asking someone others to do those works, because you can spend the same time on some higher value work, high value task. And that is why learn to delegate the task. Or maybe you can delay the task or delete some important, there are things which are not important, you can delete from your daily routine activities. That is how you can save a lot of time. The next thing is that don't stack off your work. When you get something to be done, immediately complete that. Don't pile up those files at your desk, because more and more the files you get stacked at your desk, you will get overwhelmed and you will be stressed enough and you will end up doing nothing with those tasks. And very important step is that start saying no. This is important skills we human being should learn. We always tend to say yes everything. Whoever comes to you and asks some favor, every time we want to say yes, I'll do this, I can do this. And when you start saying like yes, there are tons of people who will come and ask you a favor, ask some help. And when you say everybody a yes, then you won't have much time to spend on your quality work and complete your own task. And that is why it is important that you learn a skills, learn to say no more most often than not. Now, another important thing in time management is that you make your traveling time as a learning and listening time. That I call a traffic university, because when you drive a car on the path from home to office and office to home, you can spend that time in quality work. You can have a podcast on your music system and listen that podcast. You can listen some videos, some ebooks, audiobooks, or whatever. So in this way you can manage your time very effectively while traveling from home to office or maybe some other places wherever you go. The other section of time management is that increase the productivity activities. Yes, it is very important. Have you heard the Pareto principles? It says that 80% of your productivity, 80% of your profit or comes from 20% of your activities. That means you to choose only those activities which are higher valued. This principle applies to each and every field. Like 80% of the land is held by 20% farmers. 80% of the problems of a company comes from 20% of the customers. 80% of the peoples use only 20% of the features of your mobile phone. That is how this 80-20 principles work. So start thinking today and plan what 20% activities you can do which brings 80% results in your life. That is so important. Now, another important thing is that there are so many people who thinks they are busy means they are productive. Now, this is big myth and delusion. A person who is busy in their life, in office or somewhere, doesn't mean he is productive. A person can spend entire day doing a task which other person can spend 30 minutes and do it better than that person. So it clearly indicates that being busy doesn't mean you are productive. So be effective and productive. That is very important, that you have to decide whether the work you are doing is in a right and a smart way. Another important thing is that we always tend to forget what tasks need to be done, and all of a sudden, when you complete one task and your mind goes blank, what task we should do next, and you get overwhelmed, confused, right? So to avoid these things, you can do what you can do is have a to-do list. That is the day before you can before you go to bed, you can make a list of the tasks you want to do for the next day. While doing this, you at least have a list of tasks so that you can refer them and don't spend your time in between, and don't get confused and overwhelmed with the task, with the undecided task that comes in between. So to-do list helps you to define the task and keep you on track so that you don't get confused, right? And there is ABC principle. I don't know much about this, but ABC principle says that you define the three tasks. The first A is the most important task. If you can complete, then the other task becomes much easier. Then you decide a task B, which is lesser than the task A, less important than task A, and then define the task C. Perhaps other tasks, other than these two or three tasks, you can delegate all other tasks to some subordinate or some other person. Maybe sometimes you can outsource a lot of tasks and activities if you are doing your own business type of thing. One more thing you can do while you get confused with the activity, or when you are sitting alone idea, you should always develop an habit to ask a question: what is the best use of my time right now? For example, you are sitting on a chair or sleeping on the bed. Ask this question: what I'm doing? What is the best use of my right time? What one activity I can do which can help me to grow into my life, which can help my company to grow these revenues, which can help in any ways to your company's growth? This question you need to ask again and again, and keep asking on a daily basis, hourly basis, and every time. Keep this question in your mind and ask whenever you get confused. On a daily basis, another thing you can do is that schedule a no work time, that is quiet time. Yes friends, we work with our mind and over stress ourselves in our activities. Sometimes we do productive activities, other in nonsense stuffs, right? So on a daily basis you should define some 20 or 30 minutes in a quiet time where you spend your idle time. Don't take any phone calls, don't get any distractions, and just spend time with yourself. That is very important to manage, because when you do this and come out on your desk to start working on other tasks, you will feel the difference. You will be more effective, efficient by doing this way. And finally friends, this is most important: procrastination. Yes, most of the time and most of the people do procrastinate. I do as well. But all we need to do is that we need to take control of these things. Only thing you can do to kill the procrastination is to start and take actions. By taking action continuously, you can kill this bad habit of procrastination, because it spend a lot of time and it wastes a lot of our daily time. Because when we think there is a big task that we need to do, despite of doing that important and big task, what we do is that we go and take some other small tasks which are not productive, which are not valuable tasks, and we keep on delaying doing that important task. What I suggest you is that you start doing with that one important task, and don't delay it, don't procrastinate it. Because if you do it once, you will do it again and again, and all of a sudden it becomes a habit, and this habit becomes part of your daily routines and your life. And it will be it is very dangerous, because of this procrastination we keep on delaying some important task that keeps us away from achieving success in our life. So friends, with this I think this video has already been long enough, and now I should wrap this up. I request you to go through this video. I know this is long one, and I know in between I was getting confused with lot of stuff, because I was just reading this today afternoon only, and I didn't got all the points properly, but I believe you got the point, right? So with this, thank you, have a great day. See you again in next video.